Welcome back to Shelter Tales. This is Connie Galley, and with me today is Shawna Harris. And Shawna works in Bloomfield, Windsor, Hartford
County. There you go. Yeah.
And she works with feral cats. She has an organization. Is it No Animal Left Behind or Left Unfed?
Yep.
And we were just talking about the terrific snowstorm of a couple of weeks ago when she's out with a shovel. So Tanya's got a cold now. Shawna's got a cold now, and a little bit of limping. But so she's still here though. So that's great. So how did you and I know what it takes to feed and shelter animals. We're talking about the brutal life on the street that ferals do have.
Yeah.
And how did you choose to get involved with feral colonies versus a traditional shelter? I mean, it's a whole lot more work to get out there with a snow shovel or 5 a.m. when you have a job, which you do, or 6 p.m. when you're coming home from your job.
Which I have. Yeah.
Which you have.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in that? How did you start? I mean, starting by yourself.
Yeah.
In this day and age is quite a trip.
This is the honest truth. I mean, I've always had a love. And then my mom lives on East First Street in Hartford, where at the time, because I started in 2007, and I knew I wanted to do something. And at the same time, I was working in nonprofit, sort of like nonprofit. All of my professional experience has been in nonprofit, social work, case management, that type of thing. So when I first started thinking about it, and I kept seeing all these sort of cats in the neighborhood, for me, it was trying to think of something that I could do, and then something that I could do well. And I just kept thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. So I knew at some point it was going to involve sort of like nonprofit case management, something that we call like direct service. I knew early on that I was not going to. I had no interest in wanting to do a shelter or anything like that, because I didn't want to look for space,
brick and mortar.
money.
Expensive.
I mean, it's very expensive. Yeah. You're depending on the goodwill of others who want to write it off. And you dump a
lot of money you could be doing.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard those cases about what happens when they want you to move. Sort of like, what are you doing with all these cats, these 50 cats I have? Yeah. But cut to, finally I just decided, and I should say also too, at that time when I was sort of thinking about it, I was doing a lot of case management work, particularly in Hartford and New Britain. And always, one of two things always happened. There were always families who had pets who loved their pets, right? The second thing was they never had enough food. And if they had to get rid of their pet, it was because of medical expenses.
The pet's medical expenses.
Medical expenses. So I knew at that point I wanted to rally sort of around that. And so I honestly, I started picking up the phone and I started sort of like calling places. In the beginning, it was very exclusive, very hostile. I'm very honest about that.
Really? With people just saying they don't?
I mean, this is the thing that I've learned now that I'm sort of on the other side. I mean, I get it. It's a little bit different now. It's a little bit more open, a little bit more accessible, a little bit more friendly. But when I first started, I mean, I won't name anyone. I mean, groups were not friendly. They didn't return phone calls. And when they did, they were cold and abrupt. They would hang the phone up on me. And the only person who I reached out to who actually returned my phone call was Sherry DeGenova at the time, who was the Hartford ACO. I love Sherry. And that's sort of like how it started. And I had a conversation about her, and I was like,
Sherry,
she was the former Hartford Animal Control Officer.
Yes. We had her on the show.
Sherry is awesome.
She did.
Awesome.
She was a great guest, and she was a great person doing good stuff.
And so I was sort of like talking to her and telling her sort of like my plans and what I wanted to do, and she was very, very helpful. And then at that time, for many years, actually up until January of 2015, I did curbside delivery. So
explain what that means.
So curbside is, I would, started talking to Sherry. She absolutely loved it, agreed with it. We knew this was sort of like just the very early beginnings of a process, like very early on. So she would supply me with food to turn over to families. Curbside meant that I didn't have a spot, so I would go to families' home and deliver the food curbside. As a single person doing this, as a single female I would never go into the home for safety issues.
Yeah, you have to be. That's the other thing. As a female doing everything, you have to be more careful.
So it was curbside, and she introduced me to some other people, and that's sort of how it rolled. And I did that for a long time up until like January 2015. again, through friends that I just knew, and we were invited to share space with Latter Rain Christian Fellowship Church in Hartford, 32 Main Street in Hartford. They run a food bank. So we share space with them. So on one side, they do food, on the other side. And they knew about me because I had been doing this for like years now. I mean, everybody knew me. That's the cat lady. She has the
cat
food.
Lady. Not the crazy cat lady, right? Just the cat lady.
The cat lady. Yep. And one of our mutual friends was like, Shawna, you know, the pastor is at his wit's end because, you know, all of these families are coming into the pantry asking for pet food and we don't know what to do. So she was like, I know someone. I have someone.
And then from there,
And
because for a family to be in hard times for any circumstance is very tough. But that, like you mentioned, the pet is your family. To have to give up a loved member of your family, to some people probably did feel like giving up a kid, you know, because I can't feed them. I can't take care of them any longer.
Yeah, and that was the other thing I never understood either. Again, was sort of, I really do believe people are infrastructure. You have to invest in them, and including their pets. And I never understood this sort of thing of, you know, you have to be nearly destitute to get help. That never made any sense to me.
No.
In
You want
terms
to get
of
them
policy,
before they get to.
Yeah, in terms of policy and well-being and sort of balance and wellness and all of that stuff. So at that point, the idea sort of became we want to do a curbside became a pet pantry.
Okay.
A pet pantry for any legal domestic pet. So that's your dog, your cats.
Guinea pigs.
We've had a turtle. We have had a turtle. We've had guinea pigs.
Guinea pigs.
Goldfish.
Goldfish, really? I mean, geez, I'll fund a couple of goldfish for you. Let me know where to send it.
Yeah, goldfish. And what we do now is we provide pet food and all pet-related items and things, advocacy, information, referrals. So every second and fourth Saturday of each month from 10 to 12, we distribute pet food to families in the community. Now, this is
the church.
At
the church. So people from Hartford. Is it just Hartford or is it the surrounding areas?
We are open to any resident within the state of Connecticut, but they have to be willing to come to Hartford. I purposely opened that pantry in Hartford because, again, early on, one of the things, again, that I never understood, I did understand, and again, this is very early on, and some of the sentiment has changed, but, you know, there's this misnomer about Hartford that, one, people look like me, which they do, but Hartford is very diverse. Two, that people aren't working, which they're not. About 95% of people are working, but they're working part-time, retail, low-income jobs.
Yeah.
The money runs out.
Right.
And then the third sort of misnomer about Hartford residents is that they don't love their pets. It's absolutely not true. Now, you have dog fighting, dog baiting everywhere. I mean, it is
not just the cities.
statewide. It's just a huge issue, I would say, nationwide. So it was... No, it was sort of, I don't want to say like a reconciliation, but I just wanted to prove the point that Hartford isn't what people think it is.
It's no different than any other community.
There's no any other community. Very lovely, hardworking families who are in hardship.
Right.
Period. All of us are in hardship at this point.
Right. I mean, it's a different...
The economy has completely changed the game for everything. So the idea was to keep it in Hartford, to make sure that it was accessible meaning that it was available. The goods were there by foot, by bus, by car, all the sort of details about what accessibility means. So that was the whole idea. And then all of my sort of nonprofit social work, case management skills are just sort of the other stuff that I do with families. So when they call me or they show up to the pantry, we now do, because we have to, because of the hardship and the need. You know, we make referrals based on food, clothing. So it's not. So basically, it's become a community pantry.
Yeah, right. Basically, it started as pets, but it's helping pets and their owners.
Oh, you have to.
And you're being almost like a social worker for multiple problems that might have brought them to the pantry, that might have made them have to almost give up their pet. Now, who do you call? Because there are people that I'm sure that want to watch this and be willing to drop off food. Do you go to places like Petco? Is it individual donations? Is it all of the above?
Right now, it's all of the above. It's all of the above. So, I apply, I call. I will mention a few people who helped me tremendously.
And
First of all, the first one, again, Sherry. I love Sherry. Like,
she was so.
I don't think people realize
what she
the
did and how hard
network
she
and
worked.
how much she did and how grounded she was in doing it. But Sherry has been a tremendous support and boon to me.
She
It
brought
still
pit
is.
bulls in here and to show these are not aggressive animals.
They're not,
These are
yeah.
loving if you're loving with them. So when she was
Absolutely.
here, that's what she did. And yes, you could tell she was just so connected to what she was
And
doing.
she does a wonderful job with Kenway Cause, and they do a lot of work still with the city of Hartford shelter dogs. The other person I have to give a shout out to who helps me directly a lot with food too is Mark Paterzo out of Durham, Connecticut. Help Willie's Friends. Mark has been a tremendous assist to me for the past 5, 6. I mean, just Shawna, I have like 20 litters, 1,000 litters. Come get it. Okay, Mark, I can only take 20 because I drive a Toyota Yaris.
Fill that car up. A low rider. By the time you had done all that, but poor you. But again, this is from her shoveling and limping and sneezing and snorting.
But all of the above in terms of like food, individual donations. Yeah, again, always begging. Yeah.
Who do you? Yeah, I know the always begging feeling, and people hate to see you coming. But do you need on those two? Do you need volunteers for more than those 2 Saturdays, the 2nd and 4th of the month, as you said at the church? And what is the address of the church? Just so we might as well say that.
So in terms of, so we're a little bit different because, like I said, we're not a traditional rescue or shelter.
Right.
We provide direct service to families. And let me go back a little. So right now we have 3 programs. I'll be quick. The first program, of course, is our biggest one, which is the pet pantry, which is the most direct way of giving food away to families.
Right.
Any family within the state of Connecticut who falls into hardship. Our second program, of course, is the community TNR, which I think if anyone who does animal advocacy, you have to do TNR because
who does your trap, neuter, release? Who does that?
I actually do, and I do get a lot of help though from POA, Protectors of Animals.
They're great.
And the lady who's helped me the most with that is oh my God, what's her name? It's not in my head. She's a lovely, mature lady. Oh my God.
Protector of Animals, it used to be John Thomas, and I've met now the 2 people that run it. They just started the low-cost spay
The low-cost clinic, yeah.
They did.
They're
and
great.
I can't remember her name either.
Me either. I'm like, oh my
terrible.
goodness. And then our last program is strictly based on donations. It's called oh my God, what is it called? Oh my God.
Glad it's not just me because I said you were from Windsor, Bloomfield, Hartford. Get it?
I know. It's called Our Neighbors Fund. Thank you. My goodness, my head is. I took 2 Dayquil, so I apologize before I got here. Yes, I'm a little loopy. But it's called Our Neighbors Fund, and what we do, and again, it's based solely on donations. Again, we are very small. We can't do anything big. But what we try to do is, in terms of those medical expenses, so we do like very small medical expenses. So, for example, we had a lady called who was disabled, who needed her cats spayed and neutered. We did it. We had a guy call who needed some erythromycin, and we paid for it. Another lady was short with her office visit. We paid for it. That type of stuff we do. Everything goes directly to the vet. There's no cash in hand or anything like that. But in terms of the pet pantry, we share space with Latter Rain Christian Fellowship Church. That's 3200 Main Street in Hartford. And again, it's every month, every 2nd and 4th Saturday from 10 to 12.
Do you need people to come and help you give out the food?
You know what we do, because I mean it's a very tight space, but it's a very workable space, and it gets filled really quickly. So we do need help, and just sort of, even if it's just sort of helping to direct, or at some point going forward, when we start doing things like passing out like the soap and the toothbrush, and we need someone manning tables, and we always need the extra help. Our biggest help is the warehouse. We need a tremendous amount of help with the warehouse.
Now, where is your warehouse?
Our warehouse is in Hartford. I don't ever give out the address.
Is it all right, I got to that. But what would you need as far as the warehouse? The picking and packing?
So a couple of things. So one, to help us constantly with organizing. So as the food come in, it needs to be organized.
Right.
It needs to be broken down into bags based on cat or dog food to go out. And then we really need someone to help us on those Saturdays morning loading. We are
loading to get it over to the church.
Get over to the church. I mean, we are getting killed. I mean, it's like back breaking because we transport over about like 600 pounds.
Yeah, I've got the amount that you went through last year. Well, where would a person who wanted to give you a hand, either warehouse, helping load, straighten the warehouse up, load, or come to the church to do it, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, a few ways.
Without overwhelming you.
Yeah, no. Even though it's been a few years, I'm still working on my new web page because it's just me doing everything. So I really do apologize about that. I just get so distracted.
Well, I found you. That wasn't hard. You want to let other people find you.
But I have a very active Facebook page. So they can either instant message me or direct message me. My telephone number is public, which is 860-816-0525. It's a public number. It's attached to no animal.
Okay.
I don't have a landline. It's my cell line. They can call me. They can text me.
Okay. Could you repeat that phone number again?
It is 860-816-0525.
Okay, and Facebook page, is it under your name, which is Shawna Harris, or are you under?
They can do two. They can do under me, which is Shawna Harrison, or they can do No Animal Left Unfed. And either way, they can instant message me. And I tend to be pretty quick with that stuff.
Okay. And it's Shawna, SHONYAHARRISON.
Correct.
Okay. And is there any icon next to your, I don't know if there how many Shawna Harrisons there are.
Well, for me, I think I have like a witch sign or something like that, because that's just my personality.
Okay, you look for her. You'll know. But if there's a lot about cats, you'll know it's her.
Yeah,
right?
our logo is a purple and white cat and dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they'll be able to find you, because sometimes people go on, like if I'm looking for somebody and then there's 25 icons but no faces or no, and I'm like, I don't know which one is it.
Real quick. And our email. I'm sorry. Email noanimalleftUnfed@hotmail.com.
Okay. No caps, just no animal left unfed.
It doesn't matter. Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay. I have here that in 2015, you helped 97 families keep their pets, which is a big deal. And 150 dogs, of 150 dogs and 80 cats by collecting, I had to write this down because I don't remember. 776 cans of wet food and over 3,100 pounds of dry food. And that's a lot of lifting, but you just confirmed that's a lot of lifting. You know?
Yeah, no, I mean, it fluctuates each year. That was for 2015. We did the numbers for last year. And I think in terms of families, we came in at 422. And this would be like new separate families.
In 1 year, you went from 97 to 420?
It fluctuates. But now that we have that pantry now, we knew that we were going to sort of start seeing that curve
go up because they can find you.
Go up, yeah.
They can find you.
I don't remember the numbers, but it was 422. I think it was like, it's always going to be less number of cats, but because we count individual cats, we don't count someone who comes in and says colonies, because the colony can be from 8 to 10 to 15 to 20 to 30.
Now, are you saying that you also feed the feral colonies as well as taking care of people who have cats in the house? Now, your feral cat colonies are in Hartford.
They are.
Are there 2 or 3 feral colonies?
I have, let's see, 3 in Hartford, 1 in Bloomfield.
Well, so 4 feral colonies. Are you taking care of them by yourself?
I am, but it's killing me. It's killing me. Yeah.
Again, people, you want to help her? She got a full-time job. Here, 4 feral colonies.
Yeah, it's killing me. Yeah,
so it's morning and night. You got to do 4 colonies, morning and night, or just morning.
Well, this is the thing, because I've always done this. I only feed my colonies once a day, but I give them ample food. I give them both wet and dry to carry them over till I return the next day, because I just don't have the time because I work.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But yeah, like I really need help. I mean, if there's anything that I need, we desperately need volunteers helping hand, because right now it's only about maybe like 3 or 4 of us. I may get like a floating person, but it's only me. I'm the founder of No Animal Left Unfed. I have to give a huge shout out. Her name is Rebecca St. George. We call her Becky. I met Becky like almost 2 years ago. Becky is wonderful. If it wasn't for her, I would not be able to even. And I think that's the only surprising part about this whole process. I mean, everything has been this tremendous, skyrocket shift. I mean, just boom. We do not get violent. I mean, it's just that even when we do, it's always the same thing. We don't take it personally, but it's
no. Everybody's stretched thin. Everybody's stretched
and then they just disappear. Yeah.
Have you ever thought? And this is just a thought, because Windsor, there was a Connecticut Cat Connection in Windsor. There still is, and a lot of times kids have to do extra credit. I don't know how close you are to any high schools in Hartford. They have to do extra credit. They have to do community service, and a lot of times we've used those kids and you're making the future volunteers. I mean, if you can get them aboard, if they can get there, the whole issue, you know.
No,
But
no, I actually, and that's sort of like based on my nonprofit. So a couple of things that's happening. On April 7th, the Hartford Hawks are coming to help us from the University of Hartford.
That's great.
So that's awesome. So I'm like, yay.
You're getting some quality help
Yeah,
there.
that's gonna be
you're Mark
awesome.
Paterno
Yeah.
and the Hartford Hawks, and you
Yeah.
get your face on a billboard. I've talked to a lot of shelters.
I'm
There's
still in
nobody's
shock
face
over
was
it.
on a
I
billboard.
know, I'm still in shock over that one. I'm like, really?
So Becky, you look for Win TV, and we're going to send you a copy of the program so you can show Becky, because she'll be excited to get a shout out.
No,
I hope.
Becky. If it wasn't for Becky, I wouldn't even be able to do any of this, because we just do not. I mean, I always tell the people we need a loyal base.
You need somebody that's going
Not
to
a
be
lot.
there. Yeah, not a lot, but
Because I'm
somebody
not a
that's gonna
fan
be there
of quantity.
steady.
I like quality,
Yeah.
loyal people who
Yeah.
are just willing to help us. That's it. I could have a team of like 7 and we would just knock it out. But because I mean, we just don't get. And part of it is because I mean I get it. We don't have the cute little dogs and cats. There's no one to cuddle.
We always find that cats, a lot of people, God, they're independent, but they don't realize there's a brutal, hard life out there for them.
Oh.
And their lifespan is usually only 2 years.
2
Only when
years,
they're
yeah.
trapped and neutered. You know, it's tough. Disease, fights,
Yeah.
cars, coyotes, it kills them. You don't
Yep.
have dogs wandering around like you have cats, and so you have to really educate people. But so anybody watching who wants to help, Bloomfield and Hartford,
Please.
please get a hold of her. She gave you enough information. Sean, you gave you enough information about her Facebook, her email, her phone number. You work with, I saw that you work with medical sponsorship and referral. How does that work? I thought I saw on your website or somewhere in an article about you, medical sponsorship. Is that what you were talking about, where you get the vet to take care of?
Oh, our neighbors fund. Yeah, so that's pretty. It's not new. Like when I first started to register with the state and sort of like think about, like I said, we always knew we were going to do one of 3 things. It was going to be direct service for pet food distribution and medical expenses. So it's sort of transformed because of just sort of need, sort of where we are. You sort of have to change based on sort of your demographics.
You flow.
Yeah, you
adjust your
have
flow.
to. You just adjust. So it's now called our Neighbors Fund. That's the one
Our neighbors
where
fund, that's you had talked about. Okay.
that's the one where it started off a little bit different, but I decided to do it that way because it's just a little bit more. It's a little bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? It's just a little bit more organized and a little bit more resolute. But so it's based on donations. Because I won't lie, because a lot of our money that comes in still goes to the pantry. I don't think there's no manual for how to run a community pantry.
Right.
So much of the money actually goes towards cat food. We get a ton of donations in terms of dog food. We don't ever get a lot in terms of cat food. So a lot of our money that comes in goes directly back out to the pantry for just purchases, expenses, like stuff like that. So usually if there's anything left over, or if it's not too expensive based on the amount of money that we get, because we don't get a lot in donations either. Like I said, based on the phone calls, I literally have to just go through and decide which ones that we can do based on what I have.
Your budget, your
and I tend to be very transparent. I post everything. I show the receipts. I really do believe in that. I'm a big believer in it. And if you're going to ask people for money, you have to show them where it's going.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm a big believer in transparency. So I always post sort of like where it's going and stuff like that. But again, it's based on what we have. I know the last one. I was working with the young girl. I don't know what happened to her. So I'll give you an example. I was at Stop and Shop buying cat food, no less, of course.
I do that at Target, and people go, "How many cats do you have?" It's like, it's not for me. I have 4, but I'm buying for other little hungry
Yeah,
mouths.
it's usually for my colleagues. I don't think people realize the amount of food you go to. Like, really? I'm like, really?
Really? They're hungry too. Yeah. Think about it.
And so I met a young girl. We were just talking. She was telling me how like someone handed her like this dog. You get these really crazy stories, and she was saying how the toenails were almost ingrown because they hadn't been cut. So I was telling her who I was. I was like, well, I'm thinking in my head, we can afford that. That shouldn't be.
You're doing your calculations.
Yeah, you know. So I told her, I was like, this is my information. Call me, text me, whatever, and we'll pay for it. And unfortunately, I haven't heard from her because this is what I tell people. They don't ever see money. they won't ever see money.
You're going to send it right to you make sure that animal's taken
So we
care of,
do some vetting, very small-minded vetting, but we make sure that it's a legitimate vet, that person. It doesn't even have to be a patient, just sort of confirming that this person is coming on this day to do that,
right.
And this is who we are, and we're going to pay for it. And we'll send the money directly to them. We usually just take it right over the phone.
So you make sure.
Or PayPal. A lot of it is through PayPal now. You just transfer.
Well, you can take donations through PayPal.
We can take donations through PayPal. We have a PayPal account. We do.
So, one thing I want to mention to you is in June 17th, I don't know if that's the second Saturday. I'm not sure. I don't think so. In June, if you would like to come, we are having a function in Northwest Park, and for the shelters or for anybody like yourself with a community project, we're giving tables away. We've got Protector of Animals coming, and we've got another one that has a very small shelter up in Windsor Locks. But get your information out there. We're going to advertise heavily, so we're expecting a crowd. And if you or somebody else wants to come and man a table, just to give information about your organization. Word of mouth is sometimes the best. And I'll throw that over to you after this program.
No, absolutely. Because one of the things that I have to do better this year with is things like this. One, I'm extremely, can't tell because I'm talking to dogs, but I'm actually really shy. It's hard for me to do things like this, and I realize I have to get over it. I really do, because I have a certain vision of how I see animal. In order for me to sort of enact that vision, I have to do more of this, and I haven't done a lot of this at all.
But calling, begging for money gets you over that shyness quick. I know.
It does.
I know. I haven't had the phone hung up, probably neither of you, but I've had the abrupt calls.
It's not pride, it really is just sort of shyness. You can't tell, but it's not a part of my personality. I have to pretend I'm like Meryl Streep or something.
Doesn't seem it. So you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job on multiple levels.
Thank you.
Do you have anybody who comes to you and says, "Oh, geez, I've got these"? Do you have anybody that does fostering of cats, or do you stay out of that entirely?
That I don't do at all.
You get a kitten in the colony, you go, I gotta.
What we do with our community TNR is, just certain things we just don't do. We don't do the shelter. We don't do rescue, which meaning we don't do fostering. So typically, I'll give you an example. We just had a couple of cats. I'm really bad with names too. So this beautiful cat that showed up, just emaciated. And sure enough, it turned out to be a Maine Coon, beautiful.
So you figured that was somebody's pet and they let them free.
Oh, that's what happens all the time.
The ones that are not afraid, ferals stay away from you. Yep. Even when they know you, they'll edge towards you. But if you have a cat, and I've had this happen, come towards you, they were somebody's pet.
And he couldn't wait to get off. Couldn't wait cause ended up taking him because he was just. They called me one day, Sean, we need a cat. Not a problem. Where do you want to go? Let's meet. But typically what we do is we will work to we will pay, no animal left unfed will pay for the cat to be spayed, neutered. We typically do the whole package, so spay, neuter, rabies, the feline, the
virus,
the leukemia. We do the deworming. I think it's one other in terms of I can't think.
The medical process. And what do you do? Say you find the kittens.
So we do that, and then we literally go on our Facebook, work and beg and network with a rescue to take them.
Please call me, because I cannot tell you, Connecticut Cat Connection, which is in Windsor by the airport, moves kittens like Mickey D's moves burgers.
They did one of my. Is it Mary?
And they're happy to take the kittens.
Right? Is it Mary?
It's Marianne, and she's the director, but. Kittens, no problem. We can place kittens all day. It's the older cats you have trouble with.
She did. Please forgive the name because I'm really bad with names.
That's okay.
She did Ballsy for me.
A Baldy?
Ballsy.
Oh, Baldy.
Ballsy. Ballsy.
Oh, Ballsy. Him I didn't meet. Not been over there.
Ballsy was this beautiful male cat I had been feeding for about 2-3 years, and hence the name because.
Yeah.
His backside,
and he or she lasted. He lasted. Yeah.
But she was really kind, and the same thing. We made sure that Ballsy was renamed Cheeks. I'll say Cheeks. I don't want to be offensive. So Cheeks was,
but he was. That's how he got adopted. Think about it.
Yeah. So Cheeks was neutered and had his rabies and all his paperwork. So I gave all her the original with some food and stuff, and then she took him, and then. She was very kind. I think he only lasts like maybe like 2-3 days.
I'm
He
telling
was
you.
handsome. I mean, he was like 19 pounds
Right,
at that
Oh
point.
my gosh, that's a biggie. He wasn't starving. You were taking care of him good.
Yeah.
19 times. But seriously, I know kitten season's coming. I know there's going to be some furrows. We just had on our Facebook page, Furrow Mama gave birth to 4 kittens. The umbilical cord never detached. So 3 of the kittens had to crawl as a group to nurse. And it was awful. I mean, the mess they left behind. And one of them had the umbilical cord wrapped around his little paw, which was swollen, but we think it's okay.
Okay.
But that somebody kind got the kittens in. Mama's being Mama will never, once you get past a few weeks and a month old, Mama will be out there, but she's going to be taken care of.
Good.
Spayed,
She'll be spayed,
but the kittens are now getting fixed, and they're going to go. I mean, so if you come across in your feral colonies somebody that snuck in that you haven't gotten neutered yet, please do give me a call or Marianne a call, because certainly like I said, I'm not even joking. She moves kittens like me.
No, I mean, no, it would be a bit help. One of the things you had asked earlier, I would say in terms of help, certainly volunteers, but again, I can't stress this enough. Warehouse loading, and if anyone would be able to just help me, just please commit with me for about 3 months to help me.
And it's even only for several hours a week,
TNR,
right?
Yeah, because
because it's getting them over to the vets, and Have you called Russell Bergeron?
I talked to Russell, I think, for one of my Bloomfield cats, because I can't trap him. I was thinking about putting him in a barn, but I think I just sort of like fell off. But
poor Russell. But I mean, I was telling you the story. Russell Bergeron is with East Windsor Feral Cats.
The East Windsor Feral Cats. Yeah, they do a really good job.
He was out there trying to feed a colony in the 2 feet of snow we had, and he got plowed over by a East Windsor plow truck in his van and ended up in the hospital. But he's back on the road again. Russell's.
Oh no, he's a
fantastic person. But there's a lot of
perseverance.
Just in case you didn't know, but if you've been doing this for years, you know them. So Shawna needs help with trap, neuter, and release, taking them over to the vets. Shawna needs help with loading at the warehouse and straightening at the warehouse, and sometimes even being at the church. And if you can give her say 2 hours a month, which is not much, people, just 2 hours a month, and a bunch of you do it, and that's going to be the same 2 hours a month, then she's going to be golden.
We don't bully our volunteers. We understand that life happens. We understand people have very complete, full lives. It's just whatever day you can share, give to us.
Good for your soul,
so helpful.
Right? It's good for your soul. I asked somebody once, I wonder what my lesson in life is, or I went to a psychic and said, what am I supposed to be doing here? And she said, you're already doing your soul development. And she told me you work with cats. And she didn't see this because this was under
really?
She had socks on. Like, yes.
Oh,
so
wow.
you're doing your soul's development here. So isn't that nice?
No, I absolutely love it. It is the hardest work I've ever done in my entire
the most tragic,
life.
But
it is.
I
absolutely love it. It's a no, never mind. And I would not change anything. Come shovel, come me falling down the hill,
come colds, come wet feet, come backaches. But so this is Shawna Harrison. No animal left unfed. She's giving you all her information, and we're hoping that she does get some calls or emails after this, because she needs the help, and you will also be doing your soul's development.